We just watched the Ian Bud Light commercial. It was very cryptic. They worked even the Hoover Dam into it. It's really amazing. The Hoover Dam is already printed on the U.S. currency as one of the events that will take place that has been telegraphed in advance. They did the same thing with the Twin Towers, as did they print the Pentagon bombing on the same $20 bill note. The Alfred P. Moore building on the old $20 bill. All these images that were printed on the U.S. currency were made before the buildings ever blew up. So that means they had foreknowledge. The spirit that did it knew what it was going to do, and so it used humans as puppets and had those images put on U.S. currency in order to show himself as God of this world. That's what Lucifer's doing. We saw that in that commercial, it showed Ian get down on the ground that was all blue, and it was alluding to the plaque at the Hoover Dam, the wheat and the weeds. It says, they died so the desert could bloom. That was Lucifer making a statement. It wasn't really about the people that died during the building of the Hoover Dam, which there were many. The plaque was cryptic to show that angels, they died so Lucifer's kingdom could bloom. That's what that's about. This is called Bright Crystal Versace, and I'm going to let you watch it all the way through, and then we're going to break it down. But remember the Ian Bud Light commercial where he had his own evil twin because he made the wrong decision in the garden. The female warrior, which was Eve, turned against him. He fell. He took the deal. It's interesting if you think about it. Once Eve was corrupted, did that mean he couldn't touch Eve without being corrupted? Or was he corrupted by the same fruit of another gender? It's an interesting question. But either way, it is absolutely what was the fall. Sex was the fall. Here we go. So here comes a being down from heaven, like an angel. She's in a desert setting now again, like the Garden of Eden. She's naked. Just look how everything's desolate, like a desert. They died so the desert could bloom. I want you to look how with her hands she's making that letter W. And you are looking at dry, parched ground, the desert, and also serpent skin and human skin. We're going to show you right now. I want you to look at the cobblestones right here at the Vatican. This is St. Peter's Basilica. So the whole thing's a big serpent that's pregnant. And the pregnant part, which is the patio, that's in the shape of a keyhole, the pregnant part is made up out of black cobblestones, identical to serpent scales. Now why don't you have a look at serpent scales and let's magnify human skin. Wow, identical. Well, the Targum said, and he cast them from him, Adam and his wife Hava, and gave them the flesh of serpents upon the adornment they had that had been cast away. Right here, very important, there's a teardrop coming out of her eye. That teardrop's going to fall down, and it's going to hit the parched ground. And all the stuff I've been showing you, all the dead sheep, almost all of them have one thing in common. There's a teardrop comes out of the eye of an animal that has died, like all those sheep I showed you. So she has a teardrop that comes out and it hits the ground. That teardrop represents death, and here it comes out of the dry parched ground, which also is the same as serpent skin. Here comes a penis. See all the little lights floating around like falling stars, all the stars that fell from heaven. The Bible says those who are wise in the end shall shine like the brightness of the firmament. The Bible says, in with his tail drew down a third of the stars of heaven. So she's fornicating. This is the fall. Your body has become your prison. In the next commercial, we're going to show you what's called the Vesica, which is a representation of your prison. So the sounds you're going to hear right now, crystalline, forming a crystal. She is trapped now in her body. Her body has become her prison, which is exactly what I've been telling y'all. Now she's breathing out. She's exhaling. She's dying. And she's looking at, look, one eye's in the darkness. See how one eye's black and one eye's in the light. This is our condition, death now. The Bible says if your eye be single, the whole body's full of light. Because your eye is double. Until you're made single, then your whole body's full of darkness because one eye is dark, one eye is light. She's going to breathe out her last breath. Watch what happens to her essence. I'm going to freeze it right there. Look how her eye turned from a pupil to a slit. Does that look like a human eye right there? Looks like a serpent's eye. Look how her body is like crystalline. It's her prison. She's been trapped. See her essence trapped in the bottle right here? There is her essence that's been trapped in the bottle. She died, she exhaled, and her body became her prison like the whole human race. On top of the bottle, right here, this is called the Vesica. Right here, this is a Vesica. The intersection of these two circles, where they intersect, makes this geometric shape that looks like a football. She is trapped because the intersection of the two sets created the prison for us. That's the duality, and because now they both share this common space, the intersection of the very two first cells. The seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman, they form those two circles. As soon as those two circles intersect, they form the Vesica. Every single one of us started with two cells, a sperm and an egg. And when they intersect, that's a whole new prison. That's a new host body. That has nothing to do with selling perfume, folks. Absolutely nothing. Now we're going to do another commercial, Coco Mademoiselle. It's another perfume commercial, but let me ask you a question. Have you seen in any of these commercials that they're actually trying to sell something? I mean, the Bud Light commercial, did it talk about how great the beer was? What about the Jaguar commercials? Did they tell you about the acceleration, the handling, the struts, the leather interior, all the amenities that a car should come with? And that's what makes it such a great car. So they've never really told you anything about any of the products, have they? Okay, well, I want to take you back to the Garden of Eden right now. The very first two cells, and as they come together and they intersect, they're going to form what's called the Vesica. Now I want you to pretend that you're getting to watch the very first two cells intersect. The first sperm, the seed of the serpent, mixing with the seed of the woman. Let's watch a little bit of biology real quick.
When sperm reach the zona pellucida, they attach to specialized sperm receptors on the surface, which triggers their acrosomes to release digestive enzymes, enabling the sperm to burrow into the layer. Inside the zona pellucida is a narrow, fluid-filled space just outside the egg cell membrane. The first sperm to make contact will fertilize the egg. After a perilous journey and against incredible odds, a single sperm attaches to the egg cell membrane. Meanwhile, inside the egg, the tightly packed male genetic material spreads out. A new membrane forms around the genetic material, creating the male pronucleus. Inside, the genetic material reforms into 23 chromosomes. The female genetic material, awakened by the fusion of the sperm with the egg, finishes dividing, resulting in the female pronucleus, which also contains 23 chromosomes. As the male and female pronuclei form, spiderweb-like threads, called microtubules, pull them toward each other. The two sets of chromosomes join together, completing the process of fertilization. At this moment, a unique genetic code arises, instantly determining gender, hair color, eye color, and hundreds of other characteristics.
The very first two cells on planet Earth in the Garden of Eden, the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman, it said each one has 23 chromosomes, each pronuclei. Here you have the seed of the woman and we have the seed of the serpent. And as they come together, the intersection of the two sets will make the Vesica Piscis, shaped like a football. Well, if I rotate these two this way, you can see that if one's above and one's below, see the intersection right there? It makes the all-seeing eye. The all-seeing eye came from the very first two cells that intersected because of the shape it made and because of the host body that resulted from the intersection of the two sets. There it is. It also makes a lot of other stuff that you see in your daily life, like the MasterCard. That's the reason it's called a MasterCard, is because that's Lucifer saying he's your master, and that's why the intersection of the two have stripes. Remember in the Garden of Eden that the serpent lied to the woman, and the serpent said unto the woman, You shall not surely die, if she partook of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. He said, For God hath known the day you eat thereof, your eyes will be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Okay, so.
Well, no one told me about her, the way she lied. Well, no one told me about her, how many people cried. But it's too late to say you're sorry. How would I know? Why should I care? Please don't bother trying to find her. She's not there. Let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, the color of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright, but she's not there.
So let's watch. What's the first thing that happens? Your eyes will be opened and you will be as gods. The eye open. Now I want you to look at her leg. This is very intentional. This is absolutely staged to make a pyramid, because the pyramid represents the enemy, Lucifer. Just like the all-seeing eye on the top of the pyramid on the dollar bill. Okay, now she goes behind this screen and her identity becomes veiled. It's a shadow. She applies to herself the perfume. Remember in the bright crystal commercial you just saw, the essence of the woman got trapped in the bottles. All these bottles on the top have the Vesica Piscis. As she goes behind the screen, she takes her finger and she applies the perfume. And she takes the bottle and she turns it upside down on her fingers. It's very deliberate the way she does it. She makes 666 with her fingers. So she takes the bottle and she holds it and she applies it to her finger, making the 666, representing the flesh. And he's about to take the rest of the bait. Listen to the song that they're playing. The song is from a group called the Zombies, because the entire human race really did turn into zombies because of the fall in the garden. We are really zombies. Until you're born again, you are really the walking dead. Now she's making the offer and she's presenting the offer to him, and now he goes and he accepts the offer. He touches it. Neither shall you touch it lest you die. Now he thinks he's got something really great. Okay, right here. Light turns to darkness, and let me show you what's on this girl's dress. There's the head of a dragon. There's the eye of the dragon. There's the open mouth. There's the ear of the dragon. Top of the head of the dragon. This is with intent. So there's this nebulous looking fading dragon from the white to the black, and she goes from bright into this other girl, and what he thinks he's going to get, he doesn't get. And what's on this girl is an image of a dragon. You have light and dark. The entire commercial is black and white, light and dark. And now what looked like the light turns to the dark. And let's watch what happens. He just got the knockout punch. And then you can hear a door shut. Like he's being locked in prison. You're looking at him from above, like he's been cast down. So now he's taken the bait, he got sucker punched, he's knocked out, and look where he's trapped. Oh my goodness. He's trapped in the dead center of the Vesica Piscis, and he's been cast down, just like the intersection of the first two cells in the Garden of Eden. The exact thing they made was this right here, and that's a representation of Adam caught in the Vesica Piscis. Are they trying to sell us perfume? This has nothing to do with perfume. So now all these commercials are starting to look so pathetically obvious that it doesn't require intellectual thought to figure out what's going on. So let's continue with a few more commercials.